here at the LBJ Grasslands outside of Decatur, Texas, where it's a balmy 1 degree below freezing with a very slight north wind. Today's exercise is my final field evaluation of the 5.11 Skyweight pack. It's going to be a multi-hour outing today. Don't know how long it's going to take. There's going to be a bit of making it up as we go today. I want to give the pack a very thorough testing. Let me very briefly go over a couple of mods that I've made since the last review. I've used the strap and loops here to loop some paracord all the way around the back. That allows me to lash on additional gear. I've got some additional thermal layer and a cap rolled up inside my schmog around the outside. I'll be wearing layers today, and so if layers need to come off, this will also give me the ability to very quickly put them on the back. Now, this is my ultralight loadout. I tend to cap that at about 15 pounds. Not quite there today. The rationale is in search and rescue, I want to be able to load light, move fast with this particular type of loadout. I also carry a lot of gear on my body, gear in pants pockets, jacket pockets, gear on my belt. I'm wearing a belly band today that has gear on it, including pistol and spare mags. We will be going into feral hog territory today. Even though today would be, for me, I would call this a fun day hike. And I hardly ever get to do fun day hikes. But I know from past experience that a fun day hike, a land nav exercise, a gear evaluation can somehow turn into a search and rescue exercise. There are hunters out here today. There may be other hikers. I could run into someone who is lost or hurt, so I double up on food and I double up on water. So in addition to that, I'm also prepared, and I really harp on this in a lot of other videos, that even though I'll be out during the day, it'll probably be a long day. Something may happen that will cause me to extend into the night. So I've got not one, but 2 headlamps, 3 backup flashlights, an LEP light that can be used as a beacon, and 3 different ways to make fire. If you'd like me to go into more detail as to specifically what is in this ultralight configuration, I can do that in another video. Just leave a comment. So I'm at a campground right here. What I'm going to do is head out in this direction over to TADRA. TADRA stands for Texas Arabian Distance Racing Association. That is a campground that also serves as a trailhead for all the named trails here at the grassland. I'm going to pick up the yellow trail, head out the yellow, and like I said, I'm just going to kind of make it up as we go, and we're going to see how well this pack performs in a very realistic setting over some fairly challenging terrain. Okay, there's an update on mission time. I made it through TADRA onto the yellow trail. Just came up from this direction. Took one detour along the way just to have some fun. I will point out a couple things right now. Number one, the outer layer that I'm wearing is rainproof, so that surface is very slick. This is the first time I've noticed any propensity for the pack to move along my back. So far, not an issue, but we haven't been through enough terrain for a real challenge. Also, when I get out and do these exercises, I like to use natural land navigation, so I will not be using map, GPS, or compass today. Although I've at least lost the sun partially, I do like having those radio towers in the distance. That's an excellent reference. And then, of course, I can use all manner of Excuse me, got a bug flew into my mouth. Yeah. Anyway, I can use all manner of landmarks and, of course, any existing local knowledge. Okay, there is our update on mission time. At just over an hour, I took off my outer layer, just too hot, so we've passed the 2-mile marker on the yellow, came from that direction, descended, and this is probably the first area that might be moderately challenging, primarily because it's just muddy. And then you have all the fallen leaves to work through, so it's not particularly difficult. It's just that I have to be careful, take it slow, get up to the top, and then Charlie Mike. So let's see how this goes. All right, there we go. Made it up. Actually, fairly easy, to be quite honest. The leaves, the wet leaves, not a problem at all. The only thing you have to watch out for are all of these rocks. The majority of them are very loose, and if you step on one the wrong way, it'll give out from under you, and that's where you're going to get a mechanical injury. But made it through okay. Going to continue heading in this direction. There's our mission time update. I've been traveling parallel to the yellow trail, got another descent and another gully up there. Now when it's dry, this is a piece of cake. The only thing I have to look for today is, since it's wet, I know from past experience, particularly in the bottom areas there, that is worn down to the hard clay, so it can be very slick. And you can probably see off in the distance that little post with some yellow on top. That's where I hooked back up with the yellow trail. So really no technical challenge here. It's just I need to avoid getting big-headed, going too fast, hitting a slick area, and then game over. Well, made it again. I avoided a lot of the potential problems in the descent by actually working my way along the side. And once I got down to the bottom, across the mud, the ascent was just almost too easy. So there we go. I'm going to pick back up with the yellow. Next check-in will be One Horse Bridge, where I believe it will be about lunchtime. Okay, this segment is just for regular subscribers. Okay, that's where I came from, Yellow Trail. If you go back and look at the Night Corps P-23I for Wilderness Search and Rescue, where I did the advanced version of what I called the Jake scenario, go back and look at the segments pertaining to the Northwest Passage, or that's my nickname for that shortcut. Okay, right there, that's where you exit from the Northwest Passage. Work your way up here. This is the tree formation I look for, and I stood almost right here when I did that update after I hooked it back up with the yellow trail. So there's a chance for you to see that entire section in daylight hours. Mission time and the One Horse Bridge. So got the pack right here. If I had to stop right now and give it a final grade based on the cumulative experience to date, it would be A+. But as you can see, we just crossed 2 hours. So even though the terrain is different in terms of duration, it's about the same as the other exercises. I need more. So after a brief lunch break, I'm going to head out. And the way I see it right now, I'm going to work my way up to the Piney Woods Campgrounds, and that will be the next check-in, unless something interesting happens. This is the terrain for the short term, but it will level out pretty quick from here. The ground out here at the Grasslands is fundamentally unstable. One reason why the U.S. Forest Service does not allow bikes, ATVs, and such. And so what used to be flat has turned into this. I've been dealing with a lot of this for the last 35, 40 minutes. Update on mission time. Arrived at the Piney Woods campground. Actually, I should say campgrounds. There are numerous campsites out here. That last segment, although it wasn't very long, was largely uphill, and it was over more difficult terrain than I expected. My heart rate's kind of elevated right now. I'm just going to take a brief hydration break here, then head on out in this direction. And then what I'm probably going to do is take the Turkey Trot Trail, do a little trail hopping here. There's a fork out in that direction. The Yellow Trail continues on out further, roughly, very roughly, east. The Turkey Trot is a segment that is the inbound of the orange and blue, and I think that's where I'm headed. Mission time update. I am here at the Royal Gorge Bridge. Looks very similar but different than the one horse. I only have one thing I found that I want to point out about the pack, and that is, you see that right there? Yeah, I hate trail trash. I like to pick it up. It would be nice to have right in here a dump pouch, just something that I could use for expended water bottles, food wrappers, trail trash, other items. I can find a place for one piece of trash, but if I have to pick up more things, I either have to bring a special bag with me. It'd be nice if somehow there was just one more pouch on the outside of the pack, but other than that, continuing to perform well. This is where the blue, orange, yellow continue to follow a common path all the way back to Tadra. All right. If I wanted to get back as quickly as possible to my camp area, I take the shortcut, which is in this direction. But I want to accumulate more time with the pack, so I'm going to go the long way, which is all the way around like that, and it meets up to where I would have gone if I'd taken the shortcut in this direction, but it will give me more time with the pack. And notice the sun is out now. If you don't like the weather in Texas, stick around, it will change. Well, I'm actually on a diversion right now. The path I need to be on is way off in that direction. When I came through this area, I don't know that you can tell, there's a creek bed right off in there. When I came through here for the very first time in 2020, this was all flat, walkable terrain. And 2021, if you get past that tree there, it had actually caved in about 4 or 5 feet. There's actually a shortcut. It's over open territory off in that direction that I could eventually take to work my way back to where I need to be. I'm not going to try to go through here. No one's life is on the line. It's still wet outside. I don't want to risk contributing to any further deterioration of this terrain, again, unless someone's life was in the balance. There isn't, so I'm just going to turn around and backtrack. But about once a year, I like to come out here and just check how things are progressing with regard to this erosion and deterioration. Mission time. Still on the inbound of the yellow, blue, orange. This goes off in that direction over dry creek bed. Then I've got a few options. The most direct route back to the camp, straight ahead, Tundra in that direction. What I may do is pick up the red trail. The red trail takes me all the way up to Cottonwood Lake. I don't know if I'll go that far. There is a shortcut that I can move back over and then follow the fence line along the periphery of Tundra right back to camp. Don't know which I'm going to do, so, well, let's go find out. I just took a brief hydration break. That's the way to Cottonwood Lake. I'd really like to go, but I've got a lot of video editing to do. It's going to take me an hour and a half to drive back. Let me walk in this direction. That's the shortcut right there. So I can work my way up here, then I'll cut in that direction when I hit the fence line for Tundra, make my way back to camp, and then I'll do a very brief summary. And mission complete, almost 6 hours. I had to take my second schmog out to make room for trash. I had trash stuffed everywhere inside and outside the bag. There's the final tally. Well, overall, including today's exercise and the other 2 reviews, as well as some additional off-camera testing, I've got about 17 hours total field experience with this pack. My final grade, I'm going to have to give it a solid A. I did decide on the basis of today's activity, I really want that extra pocket on the outside in the front. Well, I have to say something or I'll probably come across as a complete fanboy. Although I have said in numerous instances, I am not an advocate, an ambassador, an enthusiast, or a fanboy of any particular brand. In search and rescue, I'm solely responsible to the party that I'm searching for, not to any manufacturer or brand. So, 6 hours. As you can see, I've been carrying it without the waist belt. I haven't been using any other clip, just the 2 front straps. It carries extremely well, balances well. Even in the small version here, the 22 liter, you can put a very solid load in that. So if you're looking for a bug out bag, a grab and go, an ultralight, ultimate day pack, whatever you call it, you probably owe it to yourself to give this a very, very solid consideration. And again, after 6 hours, I think I'm going to shut it down for today. Oh, my feet just said, thank you. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.